الرحيم والحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الخلق وعز المرسلين أبي القاسم محمد وعلى آل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين وصحبه المنتجبين وعلى جميع أنبياء الله والمرسلين. Our topics today is about Surah Al-Ikhlas أو Surah Al-Tawheed أو Surah Qul Huwa Allahu Ahad. So many names for it. And in the Quran, as let's see if this will be good. In the Quran now, alaykum salam, we refer to it chapter 112, and we call it Al-Ikhlas. Okay? Surah Al-Ikhlas. What we are going to be discussing, first of all, the importance of reciting this surah.
Is it 1/3?
1/3, they say. 1/3. So the surah, brothers and sisters, the surah is very important surah. And maybe before I talk about this, let's talk about, okay, Asbab al-Nuzul. So I'm going to write this in Arabic in transliteration so you can get familiar with Al-Nuzul. Nuzul, why it was delivered, okay, to the Prophet. Nuzul, مثل ما نقول نزل تنزل على الدرج. Nuzul, why it was delivered to the Prophet. Why we call it Nuzul? The earth is spherical. What's up here is down there, and what's down there is up there, isn't it? So why we call it Nuzul? With reference to our point. Why do we make dua this way? Allah is everywhere. Correct? So why we make dua this way? If Allah is everywhere. Because they say, you know, it's like the headquarters is upstairs. Not because Allah is physically in a place. Allah is not like us. Allah is everywhere. Allah is everywhere. And Allah does not coexist with others like we coexist with material or energy. Allah is beyond time, beyond mass. It's an absolute entity. We cannot comprehend it. Okay? So the reason we do that, because it's a way to appreciate that divine power and to show that there is a supreme being watching you. Okay? Out of respect. Now, if someone walks and you stand up, why? It's out of respect. It's etiquette. Some people, they say you might not do it if it's going to make them arrogant. That's a different story now. Okay? Not because you are short and they are tall. Has nothing to do with this. It's not physical. Has to do with what? With social etiquettes. Yani if I shake hands with a guy who's sitting because he's shorter than me, maybe if he stands up, he's taller than me. Okay? So no, it is about social etiquettes. And Allah always wants us to raise our hands as a sign also of hope. That if you keep zooming into the problem, you might forget what? The bigger matrix. Okay? You stand up, open your hands, because it's always what? There is a chance, there is hope. You don't see, in your short foresight. This is one of the reasons, wisdoms. Hala, we come to this surah. Why we call Asbab al-Nuzul? Why it was delivered to the Prophet. Hala, in Qur'anic sciences class, which is on Monday, we'll explain more details about it. Yani if we were not to have that event, that surah would not be delivered? No, that's not right. Okay? Allah knew. Allah, we'll talk about this later on. They say, according to Sunnah and Shia resources, that Jews came to the Prophet. And this riwayah, according to Al-Kafi, عن محمد بن مسلم عن أبي عبد الله قال إن اليهود سألوا رسول الله فقالوا انسب لنا ربك فلبث ثلاثا لا يجيبهم ثم نزلت قل هو الله أحد. The whole surah. In English, Jews, they asked the Prophet. Here they say the Prophet did not answer them because so many questions the Prophet used to wait for what? The teachings of Allah. وَمَا يَنْطِقُ عَنِ الْهَوَىٰ إِنْ هُوَ إِلَّا وَحْيٌ يُوحَىٰ. And whatever the Prophet gives you, it's from Allah. He does not follow his wishes or desire. No. Okay? When he is ordering you, that's a command you have to listen to. You have to obey. And that's why disobeying the Prophet is a big problem. He's not a regular person. He's not a politician. He's not just a leader. He is representative of Allah. Okay? This is one of the events. They ask him. The Prophet knows how to answer them. But he wanted something what? He wanted someone what? Something fit their questions. For this hadith, they say it took him 3 days. Then Jibreel came with the answer. Yani the Prophet was looking for an answer that's going to be everlasting, with no doubt, no question. He was not looking for just personal dialogue or argument. He wanted something engraved toward eternity. For Sunni people, they say, while he was talking to them, Jibreel delivered the surah. But same story. What's good about this hadith, according to many scholars, this hadith is Sahih al-Sanad, mu'tabar. More accurate, mu'tabar. Because most of the stories you hear why this surah was delivered or that ayah was delivered, most of the time is not accurate when it comes to the chain of narrations. Okay? So this is, they say, according to some scholars, this is what? Authentic hadith, mu'tabar. So the Prophet answered the Jews, who is God? He said, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له شو كفوا أحد. Good? So we have a reason why this surah was delivered. The second question now. This is done. Any question about this? There is a wisdom behind this. And this wisdom, some scholars related why this surah is important. What is the most important thing in Islam? Or one of the most? But this is the main idea in Islam. One of the main ideas in Islam, what is it? Tawheed. So whenever I say Islam, it is what? Tawheed. So if I put here, Tawheed. What's Tawheed? Yani one God. Tawheed making him one. Say he is one God. Tawheed. So Islam is telling us, whenever you want to talk about God, the attributes of God, the characteristics of God, the best easy way is what? To use this surah. What's this surah? We're going to be explaining it later on, but quickly, what's this surah? The surah is saying, O Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, say there is only one God and no God before or after or within. Okay? Secondly, what does it say? Who is that God? Allahu Ahad. Qul huwa Allahu Ahad. We see Allah and Ahad. Did not say Lord Ahad. Lord is more generic. A person could be a Lord. In Arabic, Allah is only for God. You cannot tell any being Allah except Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Hala, you might say, He is Rahim. Merciful. Yeah, but Allah is merciful, but totally different mercy. But when I say Allah, you cannot name anyone Allah. So that's why we said before there is a difference between God and God, capital letter, isn't it? Small letter means any God. This we call it Ilah, and this here we call it what? Allah. This is Ilah, and this is what? Allah. This is a quick reminder. قُلْ هُوَ اللَّهُ أَحَدٌ. O Prophet Muhammad, say, Allah is what? One. It's very important. We'll come back to it. Okay? Then some scholars, they said there is something interesting about this surah. That every verse explains the verse before it. Kif? How? قُلْ هُوَ اللَّهُ أَحَدٌ. You ask, okay, who is Allahu Ahad? Allahu As-Samad. He is As-Samad. What's As-Samad? So here we say Samad. What's Samad? Samad, we have several meaning of it. I'm explaining this surah in a very quick way, fast way, because we already explained it before. What does As-Samad mean?
I'm not sure, but is it like guide?
No. Samad in Arabic, we say Samad, okay? Samad. Samad, we say Yasmudu. We say Sumud, okay? Samad, Yusmadu ilayh. Yani you go to him and he is capable to answer you. Clear? And one of the meaning of Samad, this is one of the meaning. Second meaning, they say Samad means empty. Not as opposite. It's not empty. La jawfa lahu. It's not empty. Yeah, why? So what do you mean God is not empty? Anybody knows? Why they care God is not, according to that meaning? Why? Allah is not a shape, regardless. But why they insist not empty? You want to know why? Quickly. Arab people, if they want to make something very holy, they say he is not empty. In other words, he does not have a place for digestive system. Okay, and that's why they consider al-asnam, it's a big deal. Why? Does not eat. Because if they have organs inside and they have anything, empty space inside, inner, that means what? They are like us. They are human. They eat, they drink, they use the restroom. Clear? And the same talking. And that's why in the Quran they say, oh, why do you guys bless and make the big deal out of Jesus and his mom? Don't you see them, they eat like us and drink like us? Because for those Arab people, they consider gods should be what? Or holy people should abstain from this. They should not have the same functionalities, okay? And why to them? Because this is a shame. You know what does eat mean? Because that means you use the restroom. So you are like any other person, like any other being. Nothing special about you. To be special, you have to be different in your physical. So that's why when they wanna consider someone holy or like God, like God, they say he is what? He does not have organs. He does not have any emptiness within his inner, body. Yani indirectly, he does not eat or drink or use the restroom. Subhanallah, and sometimes Allah put those to make us humble. Otherwise, they might think, hey, we are gods. Okay, wal'iyadu billah. Yani Allah puts certain stuff in us to be humble. Yani you sweat a little bit, man, I have to take a shower. Small virus, you get sick. Yeah, you eat something not healthy, you go to the restroom. Why? Man, this is you. Okay? Don't show off. No matter how good you are, smart you are, holy you are still what? A being, a human being, submissive to laws. And if they want to create or make fun of a person, they say, hey, how come he does not eat or drink? Why? Because now they are looking for a person. So if you want to now look at asnam, statues, as regular beings, oh, they are useless. They don't eat and drink. Why? Because now you compare them to human. So they have this contradiction, okay? So anyway, Samad indirectly is saying he is not in need of what we are in need of. He does not have your tools, your organs, your needs. He's not feeling hungry. He's not like you, okay? Another meaning of this, they say he is a Sayyid al-Samad. Yani Sayyid in everything. Okay? So they say now, قُلْ هُوَ اللَّهُ أَحَدْ. Say Allahu Ahad. Ahad, before I go to Samad, since I was not planning to discuss it, but Ahad. Okay? Ahad. We have Ahad and we have in Arabic Wahid. What's the difference? They say, we have different opinions. The first opinion say Ahad and Wahid is the same. Make it easy on us. Okay? Second opinion, they say, no, there is a difference. There is what? A difference. In Arabic, you do not say, you say in Arabic Wahad, then what do you say? Wahad ba'ad Ithnain. You do not say Ahad Ithnain. Some linguistic, they say, yeah, you can. Because you say Ahad, tomorrow is Ahad. The day after tomorrow is what? Monday. Monday is Ithnain. Isn't it? So this is Ahad Ithnain. Okay? That's one of the arguments they have, some of the scholars. Second opinion says, no, Wahad is different than Ahad. Yes, there are some differences. But is it in this ayah? This is the question. Like what, for instance? When in Arabic you say, I entered the house and there was no one in the house. In logic, this could be a problem. Because you're saying there was no one. Maybe there is two. Isn't it? You said one, but I have five. In Arabic, to get rid of this dilemma and to track your statement properly, they say, I found لم أجد أحدا. يعني not one, not two, not three, not nothing. So ahad mainly used for negation. Clear? To negate. And it is very good to use it in negation. I did not find مش no one, nobody. خلاص, no one, nobody. No one, maybe two. You're cheating on the words. Isn't it? None was in the house. Oh, none? يعني no أحد. None. بس إذا بتقول I found no one, I might understand it. Maybe there is two. If I want to play with the words, which is against common sense. But if a lawyer wanna, play it smart. So how you can deny none in the house? You use ما من أحد. No one period before, after or before. That's at zero. Okay? Is that clear? This is one of the differences. The second difference, they say, Ahad also includes Wahid, but also, according to the second opinion, it includes, there is no second. Yani the first opinion said, Ahad could be Ahad, then you can't say two. This opinion, they said, no. Once you say Ahad, there is no second or third. So the people who contradicts this, they said, yeah, I like your point when there is negation. Ma min ahad in the house. But in other places, it's questionable. هلا نحن we're not going to enter to this talk. We discussed this way before. But the second opinion, we had the scholars, they took it second level. They say Allahu Ahad in everything. Yani He is the only mighty. He is the only absolute merciful. He is the only strong. He is the only, just name it, Ahad. No one can be similar to God in His attributes. No one. You tell me I know this. Allah knows better than you. He is Ahad in everything. He's so powerful. So Ahad, they take it as, yes. But there is also deeper than that. They take it based on the Samad. They say there is a relation between Ahad and Samad. What's the relation? They say Ahad, according to some scholars, Ahad means He is one in everything. And this is what we say in Aqa'id. We have, can I erase this? I need a room. We have in Aqa'id or Ilm al-Kalam, more specific, we have something we call Ilm al-Kalam. Al-Kalam means talk, but it means more than this, okay? It's talk about Aqa'id, beliefs. They say we have Sifat Allah. Okay? Sifat Allah, it's a big subject, inshallah. When we start our next set of sessions, we're going to have another group. Well, forget about the group. We'll have another sessions just for Aqa'id. Okay, we have Aqa'id, Fiqh. I'll give you, later on the days. Sifat Allah means the attributes of God. We have attributes that has to do with the actions and attributes that has to do with Him, His entity. They say when I say Allah is one, that means He is one in everything. He is Samad. He is not partitioned. You remember in old hard drives, we partition the hard drive, okay? Or we do like defragmentation. You remember those terminologies? If you care much, okay? You can tell what's my job. So anyway, Allah is not like this. Allah is simple. He's one in everything. What do I mean by that? Give you an example. You as a human, you want to see. What do you have in order to see things? You have eyes. Are you all eyes? Or portion of your body is eyes? Portion. Those eyes took a place from your head. Isn't it? If you want to hear, what do you need? Ears. So now what do you have? You have eyes, you have ears. So now you are a human, you have eyes, ears, mouth, just name it. Allah is not like us. You cannot say, Wallah, Allah is seeing me. Yani He has, no. Allah is all seeing. Allah is all hearing. Allah is all powerful. Allah is all, though are holy actions, but I'm mixing them. Physical attributes of God, they are one. He's not like portion, hearing, no. That's you. And in the Quran, what did Allah say? لَيْسَ كَمِثْلِهِ شَيْءٍ. Nothing looks like Him. If you consider portion is eyes, portion of seeing, portion for vision, portion for hearing, portion for listen, you ruined it. That's not Ahad. Ahad means He is one in everything when it comes to His physical attributes. Is that clear what I'm talking about? And that's why, as Shia and some Muslims, we do not agree that God, wal-'iyadhu billah, has a hand. Why? He is not one anymore. Clear? You cannot say God, as some Sunni brothers, they say, some of their school of thought, it's in Sahih al-Bukhari. In Jahannam, look at this. It's weird. In Jahannam wants more fuel. The fuel of Jahannam, one of them is what? Bad people, according to Quran and Hadith. they say no more people, no more hijara, according to that hadith. وَقُودُهَا النَّاسُ وَالْحِجَارَةُ. So Jahannam start asking for more. The Sunni resources, some of Sunni resources, they say the God, وَالْعِيَاذُ بِاللَّهِ, شو بيعمل قال? He uncover on his leg and put it where? وَالْعِيَاذُ بِاللَّهِ, in Jahannam, in hellfire. Jahannam will say, that's enough, I don't need anymore. تقول قط. In Shia will tell him, Ya Habibi, are you something? What do you mean? Why? I mean, شو يعني هو عنده dress يعني مثلا? Or he has pants? What do you mean كشف عن ساقي? And there, what's their proof? They tell you, يوم يكشف عن ساق. There is an ayah. That saq is not a human saq. Saq means leg. Okay? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, saq. What do you mean? ليس كمثله شيء. هذا بنسميه نحن بالعربي شو بنسميه؟ بنسميه what do we call it؟ بنسميه تجسيم. So هيدي we call it صفات. هيدي we call it what؟ تجسيم. تجسيم, you make it a body. Haram in Islam, in Shia, and some Sunni also. Haram. What do you mean he put his leg in Jahannam? يا حبيبي ما هو جهنم الله سبحانه وتعالى شاك in Quran لأملأن جهنم من الجن والإنس. Don't we read this in دعاء كمان? What do you read in دعاء كمان? لأملأن جهنم من الجن والإنس أجمعين. So it's going to be full of what? Jinn and ins. Jinn and the human. You tell me no, now it's full because of his leg. What are you talking about? ثم ليش his leg؟ ما الله قال وقودها الناس والحجارة. يحط حجارة يا أخي. Put the حجارة. Stones. Why leg? He did not say وقودها الناس and my leg. What are you talking about? This is disaster when you get narrations not from Ahl al-Bayt. So when I say صفات الله and I say Allah is Ahad, it goes beyond, as those scholars say. It's not about one God to God. Before we go outside, let's talk about what? Inside. Inside, God is one entity. You cannot say He is portion hand, وَالْعِيَاذُ بِاللَّهِ, and portion, and you tell Wahhabi people, so God has left and hand, left, right. They're like, no, only everything is right. Why? It's like, the guy, you hear the joke, huh? The guy, he get into a car accident. The family came to the doctor. He said, hey, how is my son? He said, he's all right. He said, oh, how nice. He said, no, you misunderstood me. I said, he is all right. The left side is gone. Okay? So you tell Sunni, so Allah has left to right hand? No. Why? Because the Quran said, he used yameen. He did not use what? Had a literal understanding of the Quran put us in trouble. Okay, not just in aqaid, in everything. And that's why right away, you are kafir, you are mushrik. So when I say God has hand, وَالْعِيَاذُ بِاللَّهِ, you are partitioning God. Once you partition God, this is not God anymore. He's not absolute. In order to be absolute, He is one in everything. All hearing, all knowing, all merciful, all omnipresent, all, just name it. And this is very important. Some people, and also Sunni people, when they talk about Ar-Rahmanu ala al-Arsh istawa. I'm going off the topic a little bit, but it has to do with what? With Ahad. Because to show you why this surah is simple, yet it is deep. It's simple. أنت بتقول دايما كنت تقول أحد صح؟ شو to you أحد is only what? يعني one. Some scholars they say no, not just one. Oneness of God is not just outside. Oneness has to do with outside and also action. Action like what? يعني إجا Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says you have to put hijab. The lady said no, I don't want to. Who's now the legislator? You or Allah? You. Where is Tawheed now? God. Allah is the one even in legislation, in love. Allah is telling you, love Ahl al-Bayt. You tell me, I don't want to. Oh, you know what? Who is now the legislator? You. Who has to be the legislator in Islam? Allah. So now you have two gods. You have your opinion that's based on nothing, and you have Allah. So now we are associating a partnership with God. And one time a lady came to me, she said, Sheikh, I don't feel like putting hijab on. I'm not picking on ladies. I mean, don't get me wrong. I said, I don't have a problem in the not putting the hijab itself. I have a problem. Do you really care about God or not? It's a matter, do you love Allah or not? If you love someone, don't you get closer to Him? You listen to Him? So my point, same thing with the guys. You tell له, Ya Habibi, Ya Albi, you are a nice person, good mu'min. Inshallah, later on you will get married. Yeah, but Sheikh, I need a girlfriend. Ya Habibi, go to Jahannam. Where are you going? Go get married. No, it's not the time for it. Not the time of it. And you open your phone, you have 10 girlfriends. MashaAllah, you are a busy guy. Yeah, I'm just getting introduced. It's becoming ugly. It's dirty. Okay? Like the guy, he went to a store, he bought a postcard. He said, yeah, please give me 50 of those. You are my only love. Interesting. That's a cheating. That's worse than a lady, she's questioning hijab. Like ladies, they have tough things like hijab, makeup, showing their, good appearance, good morals. كمان المان عنده كمان problems. Don't you think guys are easy going? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He's testing them in tougher ways. Okay? Tougher ways. بعدين inshallah we'll talk about it. So here, oneness of God, here we talk about action. You believe there is one God in love, one God in legislation, one God in commands, one God in loving and hating. There's only one God. Through God, I start my life. There is also the actions of God. Allah is all merciful. Allah is all knowing. You cannot say, I believe in God, but God may not know what I'm doing because I'm in the basement and the light is off. No, it does not work this way. Or what, once I go to Mars, it's a different story. No, it's not a different story. Allah is everywhere. They say, Al-Imam al-Hussein, as I remember the story, a person came to him, he said, Imam, I have to sin. What should I do? I said, no problem. But within like a few conditions. One of those conditions, sin, but do not let God see you. Oh, this is tough. What do you mean? I said, okay, sin, but do not use anything that God provided you with. You want to use your body? This is from God. You want to use your hand? Your God. You want to use your vision? From God. Why are you using His tools? So this is important when we look at Tawheed in action. We have Ahad in explaining the entity of God. We say God is one, is not partitioned. And that's why they say As-Samad is telling us God is not partitioned. It's not like portion of it is occupied with something and other portion is empty. Ajwaf. Samad means La jawfa lahu. That means, in other words, He is what? He is one entity. Is that clear? One absolute entity, مش partitioned. Any question? So now back to the ayah. قُلْ هُوَ اللَّهُ أَحَدٌ. Then, who is Al-Ahad? How does He look? What do you mean by Ahad? One of the meaning of Ahad is what? Allahu As-Samad. That Ahad is Samad. That Ahad is Ahad in everything. His entity is Ahad. And that will lead us to what? If He is not partitioned, He is not like us. Allahu Samad. Right away, what do we have? قُلْ هُوَ اللَّهُ أَحَدٌ Allahu Samad. After that, what do we have? لَمْ يَلِدْ وَلَمْ يُولَدْ. Why لَمْ يَلِدْ وَلَمْ يُولَدْ? Because I just told you, As-Samad is different than you. Therefore, because He is As-Samad, and because He's only one and the only one, therefore, He is not related to parents and has no parents because He's the only one before and after. and he has no son, because he is the only one and his entity different than your entity. So that's why they say the surah, every verse is explaining what? The previous verse. Did you see the logic here? Allahu Ahad. Who is Allahu Ahad? Give us more, Allahu Samad. His entity different than yours. His entity, he is willing to help you no matter how weak you are, no matter how much power you need. I'm here to help you. And also it means what? My entity is different than you. I'm not partitioned. I'm not like your body, empty here and there, and I have certain things. No. I'm different. And that's why, because I'm different, I am being more specific. See how it's more specific coming? Ahad is more general, then little bit specific, then it's more specific. That talks to Jews and the Christians. Lam yalid walam yulad. No parents, no sons. And then it gives us what? The formula. وَلَمْ يَكُنْ لَهُ كُفُوًا أَحَدٌ. No one is equal or co-equal to Allah. No one. Kufuwan means equal. Yani they say hadith, because of Fatima, because of Ali, Fatima was able to find the proper co-equal to her level. Yani they say so many Sahaba came and asked for the hand of Fatima alayhi salam, were rejected, except whom? Ali bin Abi Talib. Why? Because he was the right fit and right co-equal to her. Mish co-equal as wealth. Yani he did not ask him, what's your saving account? Show me your, the taxes. La. I'm talking about spirituality, knowledge, iman, taqwa. So Allah, nothing is, why He is nothing? So Allah gave us all these details to give us the conclusion. Nothing looks like Him. You are convinced now. Whether it's in physical entity or in actions. Allah will talk about it in a second. This will lead us for something very important, brothers and sisters. لم يلد ولم يولد. This is a big argument. لم يلد ولم يولد means he has, what's your translation if you check your app? Okay. Don't check your Instagram, just, لم يلد ولم يولد. So I finished this, okay? I finished these. So I'm gonna later on talk about this.
Neither begets nor is born.
Okay. Neither begots, and he, in other words, he has no parents, yani. And I'm not like you. Also, they say, because he is ahad, that means everything in this universe does not affect him, is not attached to him. No matter how much, look at this image, very important image, brothers and sisters. No matter, everyone will, I need your answer here. No matter how lonely you are, can you say, I am by myself? Why? No, before we talk about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, can you say, I am by myself? Why? Like, can we say, نحن هون, we are by ourselves? Surrounded by? You're not but just surrounded. You are interacting with so many things. He has his Bluetooth on, he has his Wi-Fi on, she has her hotspot, connection on. We have FM radios, SW radios, walkie-talkie, Wi-Fi signal, spectrum of lights. We have so many atoms we do not see. We have gases around us, nitrogen, oxygen, hydrogen, carbon monoxide, maybe carbon dioxide. We have dirt, we have dust. Maybe we cannot see it. Once the sun starts shining, we start seeing, all this reflection. We have so many things. When you say, I am by myself, yeah, it is more metaphoric than 100% accurate literal meaning. You are with something. By myself, that means I don't have a human. But are you really by yourself, alone, isolated? You are interacting with this universe without paying attention. You are looking at me. Within a few seconds, maybe your brain was able to process more than 1 million actions and pictures. And it's getting downloaded to your subconscious without paying attention. You are hearing me, listening to me at the same talk, and I'm listening to her, I'm listening to her. You know, I'm looking at his watch, not iWatch, and just name it. Okay? Clear? While on the other side, Allah is one by all the meaning of oneness. He is not affected or directly connected as physical as you are to this universe. He is God. He is beyond us. He is not in need of it. He was, and we had no universe. And there is universe, and He's still there. His absoluteness, it's beyond what you understand in your quantum physics and nanotechnology. If you are so smart, I was able to, manipulate certain atoms, and I can go, play with the distance between electron and electron. Allah is way more advanced than you, ya habibi. Allah created this. Yani now, if you look at your body, to make it simple, you are about 70% nothing. You know that. You are 70% empty. How? مش أنت بتقول في عنا atom, في عنا electrons spinning. They used to tell people they are spinning this way. They were wrong. Okay, we have electrons spinning. Check. But between electron and electron, we have a space. And between electrons and the atom, the nucleus, where we have the neutrons and protons and the quarks. You know the quarks? Okay, I do not know them. But anyway, I've never met. So between the electrons and the atom, we have distance. So imagine now, you are a molecule structure. So you have atom plus atom plus atom, merging together, whether it is whatever the bond is. Between a bond and bond, we have what? Emptiness, isn't it? There is a gap. Not emptiness, there is a gap. Because if you look at the atom, you'll see like, hey, I have this and this. So I have between here and here something empty. Gap. Check? And that's why, the closer the bond, the more solid it will be. And one of this toughest material, we have what? Diamond. Why? Because their structure is very close to each other. The bonds very strong. Depends on their shape and how. I don't want to talk about chemistry now. So the more loose it is, the softer it will be. Okay? So your body is not a piece of iron. They say black matter, according to some theories, if you take a spoon from the black matter, which is nothing, it is heavier than earth. Why? It is very condensed. You are not that very condensed. Okay? You are not. So in reality, I look at you, you are a human being. But if I were to look at you as nanotechnology, you are atoms. Okay, let me make it simpler. I had a student, and he told me, Sheikh, I cannot help it, he said. I'm copy paste for trimming here. He cannot help it. He wants to look at beautiful ladies. Why? Sheikh, I don't look for haram. I just want to say subhanallah. I don't know. That's a different story now. He's right, wrong. And what's worse, he has to be on the beach. And it does not work, sun, flower, spring. No. I told him to make it easy on you. When shaitan comes in and indirectly making haram through dhikr. هلا نحن أوقات بنعمل حرام through good things. How? A lady, I want her to pray. You ruined her, man. She's not going to even come to the mosque anymore. وَجَادِلْهُمْ بِالَّتِي هِيَ أحسن. Pick the best approach. If she was thinking about coming to the mosque, that's a block now. Yani that's a real block, not a virtual one. Okay? So I told him, when you are in that trouble and shaitan is telling you, hey, look, 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 remember, what's that beauty? If you really enjoy beautiness, or you love that person, if I remove this skin, are you willing? Or if I remove this skin, what's going to be beneath it? Muscles, blood, veins, check. Are you going to say subhanallah? Or are you going to flee? So you are going to Jahannam because less than 1 millimeters of skin. That beauty now is what? It's the cover. If I remove the cover, you are afraid, no, I don't want this human anymore. Or it got burned. That body got burned. Are you willing to stay with that person? No, Sheikh, I can't. But that means you are looking for something else, man. And that else, it's imagination more than reality. And that's why one of the reasons marriage might fail, because the routine is a killer. You do not start enjoying what you have. Your imagination start thinking about what alternatives. But the alternative is very similar to what we have, most of the cases. Maybe what you are seeking is just atomic structure. And that's why, يعني God sees us, He has eyes. Ya Habibi, who told you it's the same process? يعني هلا if I zoom in, okay, to your skin level, all the way to molecular structure, I'm going to see your skin anymore? What I'm going to see? What you see is different what the angel might see. Maybe totally different. Habibi, between even animals, you think all animals, they see colorful pictures? No. And when you bring something to your cat, okay, you think the cat is looking at that thing as you look at it? But they are black-white. In Spain, when they have the ball and they bring this red sheet, you know why it's red? Why is it red? You know? Why is it red? Why they have that red sheet? You know what I'm talking about? No. No. Because the ball only sees white and black. It's for us to see it. He's just seeing something moving. He does not care about the color. Look how much they deceive us, man. Okay? So, this universe is more complicated than you think. All of a sudden you tell me, if I have hand, God has to have hand. Who told you? Who said so? Based on what? And that's why God showed us what? Variety of things to know that God is great. If everything were to be one thing, one color, one way, one shape, then God is limited. No, He gave us variety. Animals, we have kingdoms. Everyone is totally different. A human, look at the complexity. Look at the language. Language by itself is a miracle. We talked about this last meeting. So that's why when we say Allah, the oneness of Allah, we are talking about the greatness. Now we come back to the ayah. Lam yalid wa lam yulad. Why? Because He's different than you. Because He is ahad. That means He is one in everything. You cannot partition Him. You cannot see Him in different, separated, dimensions. Lam yalid wa lam yulad. Why? Because He is not interacting with this universe as you are interacting with it. You are portion of the universe. He is not. You are affected by the universe. He is not. You are affected by time. He is not. You need someone to create you. He does not. Because your dimension requires certain requirements. He does not need this because He created the setup. Okay. So here a question would be, so how come the Christians, they believe Jesus is Son of God? The first question would be, what do you mean the Son of God? Literally? He went and he get married with Mary? No, Sheikh, no. So what do you mean then? Metaphoric. Okay, we are all sons of God. Yani, what a big deal. Till you know God needs a son. Once you say God needs a son, the word son is wrong. Why? When do I need a son? Not because I don't want, once you say son, that means I am in need of my continuity. I am in need of someone to inherit me. I am in need of someone that can continue what I have. I feel lonely, and that's why you see in Indian methodologies, in Indian, doctrines, some of it, like Apashanadik and other books, God felt lonely, so he created his wife, and they had babies. We call it universe. Interesting. This is, Indian movies. It seems it follows. That's a problem. We say God is beyond all this. So once you say God has a son, that means he's in need of something. And yet you prove to me that God is an absolute rich being. He is not in need of anything. Questions? And that's why to use the word son is very wrong. Very wrong. Once a Christian tells you God has son, you should tell him why he needs a son. If you tell me it is not, it is metaphoric, then even in the Bible, so many places, for instance, as I remember, those who enter peace shall be named sons of God. Why here you did not take it literal? Another thing. Quran was very clear, straightforward. Allahu ahad, lam yalid wa lam yulad. And then so many ayat like this. Show me a verse in the Bible that is not ambiguous and saying Jesus is literally the Son of God. You go, every version is different. The way they translate son has so many meanings. Okay? Or if not this, maybe there is, but I mean a son as God I'm talking. Yani Lord as they call him. Son as a Lord. One. It's a question. Lord does not mean God. Okay? Lord does not mean God. But Allah was very clear about Islam. Lam yalid wa lam yulad. In other way, what's he saying? If I need a son, my existence needed what? Parents. No. Here will give us important thing. Why we believe this as Muslims? Brothers and sisters, I want you, I don't know, maybe I overloaded you with information. You still awake? I can take a couple minutes out of your time. Let's say there is a race. There is a race. Player 1, player 2, player 4, player 5, player 6, player 7. All the way 10 players. They are ready to start what? Racing. But everyone starts saying, I'm not starting unless the second one is starting. You think anyone will start? There should be someone to initiate what? The race. If I am relying on him, he did not start. Relying on the third, did not start. And nothing will start. Isn't it? You got the idea here? I'm waiting on him to start. He did not start, so I'm still waiting. And he's waiting. And the other one is waiting. We need a first initiative. In this universe, at a point, it's either we had nothing or we had energy. What's nothing? I do not know. It's not nothing in logic. يعني nothing, thing opposite of it, nothing. عشان know there is nothing called nothing. Nothingness. شو يعني nothing? Yeah, I'm talking about as absolute. Do we have absolute nothing? It's only where? Here. It's only here. And that's why we have some philosophers like Ibn Sina. He said there is always existence, but keeps it changing. Now we might refer to it because of our scientific advancement. We say there is always what? Energy. Why? Because in physics, we studied, at least I studied here from this university, energy can be created nor can be destroyed. So where we get the first energy from? that's a good question. If you tell me energy is eternal, then this is another God. Because the only eternal before and after and permanent is whom? God. So someone created the energy. It needed an initiative. Who's the initiative? God. We go back to science. Newton's law. Yeah, sorry about today. I was not planning to talk about any scientific stuff, I swear, but it happens. Newton's law. If I have this is here, it will stay what? Here. Unless a force. Exactly. طيب يا عمي, we have universe going easy way. All of a sudden, something triggered. Someone played with the configuration. Who is that? Oh, random. We say, Ya Habibi is not playing. It's Allah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wisdom. Otherwise, it could have been static. Hala, you tell me, Sheikh, طيب, if there is nothing, sure we have nothing. Billah, wallah, I do not know. It's beyond my comprehension. Could it be nothing? Could be. I do not know. How did Allah then create energy? That's the beauty of Allah. He knows, I do not. That's why we need an absolute power, knowledge, strength, wisdom, capabilities, absolute living, ever living being. He is in charge of what? Taking care of those big complicated things. And this is way more complex than your evolution theory that you are using to tell me, hey, you are naive. Yeah, it's more complex. That's what, discuss it later on. Is that clear? So that's why when I say lam yalid wa lam yulad, please do not say my parents is the energy or my parents is people or other beings or my parents is like the Indian people. You know what? I needed someone and all. No. It's a bit, so this ayah, it is simple in words, but guess what? It is so deep. Imagine we are in this century, it is 2024 now, and we are bringing scientific things in order to give example about simple words that was said what? Or were said 1,400 years ago. And yet, we see it fitting 100%. And that's why we have riwayah from Al-Imam al-Zayn al-Abidin. Very interesting riwayah. Now, regardless of the sanad, Imam Zayn al-Abidin, alayhi salam, I don't know where I put it. I have too many riwayat. But anyway, he said, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He knew that at a point, people will get so much into deep discussions and they will think in more profound way. And that's why He delivered, one of the things He delivered what? قُلْ هُوَ اللَّهُ أَحَدٌ. We have been talking about it for about 1 hour, and we feel it has so much potential. Okay? لم يلد ولم يولد. فقال إن الله عز وجل علم أنه يكون في آخر الزمان, يعني not in his time, way after. أقوام متعمقون. They look at things in a very deep way. They have science, they have equations, they have solid questions. متعمقون. فأنزل الله تعالى قل هو الله أحد, يعني سورة قل هو الله أحد, والآيات من سورة الحديد, and he mentioned those. The Imam here said, according to the riwayah, هلا some question, it's sanad, it's not our topic now. He said, أنزل قل هو الله أحد, يعني he did not call it التوحيد or الإخلاص. He used the beginning of the surah. Okay? Last thing here about لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد. Nothing is equal to Allah. You tell me Jesus, He's not Allah. You tell me Muhammad, He's not Allah. You tell me Musa, He's not Allah. الأنبياء, أهل البيت, no one reaches the level of Allah. No one. If you believe there is someone reaches the level of Allah or take His role, you are not Muslim. وَلَمْ يَكُنْ لَهُ كُفُوًا. No one is co-equal to Allah. So when I say Ya Ali, I do not mean Ali is Allah. Or I say, Ya Rasulullah. I do not mean Rasulullah is Allah or replacing Allah. I'm saying, oh Allah, my path to you is through whom? The Prophet. Yani I'm telling Allah, Allah, I love the Prophet, and through the Prophet I ask you. By Muhammad I'm asking you. By Ahl al-Bayt I'm asking you. Not some people, what they think? No, Ahl al-Bayt, they can override, or the prophets, or the awliya, or no, they do not override the command of God. That's wrong concept. They make dua as you make dua. They ask Allah as you ask Allah. Allah give them miracles. Allah give them karamat. But they are not God. And that's why in the Quran, وَإِذَا مَرِضْتُ, Nabi Ibrahim said, وَإِذَا مَرِضْتُ فَهُوَ يَشْفِينِ. If I'm sick, who's gonna help me? Allah. بس كيف يعني Allah بده help him? يعني Allah, He created laws. He created people with knowledge about medication. But the main influencer is whom? Allah. And that's why we have riwayat, brothers and sisters. See how this ayah is deep, I don't want to get into it. You go to the souk, yani shopping, in the time of Imam. He said, I go to the shopping, let's say, and I turn my ring around. Good? So I have my ring, now I'm engaged, okay? No, it's nothing to do with this. Okay? I have my ring, I turn it around. He told the Imam, the riwayah is saying, in the souk, while I'm giving money, because I have to get my wife bread. I remember. Al-Imam said, this is shirk khafi. This is hidden shirk. Why hidden shirk? Because you should not solely depend on this. When you turn it around, if you want, do that. But guess what? Say, Insha'Allah, I will remember. Do not only depend on your alarm. Do not only depend on power. Do not only depend on knowledge. Do not only depend on wealth. Do not only depend on your phone. No. Say those are tools. And if Allah wants something different, it will happen. Because in other words, you are not allowed to be submissive only to the things that you see. Get out of that box. There are so many things, many factors you are not aware of. And the advantage, once you are in a problem and you think there is no hope, you say, no, ma fi Allah ma'na. You get out of it. Because if you only depend on your regular materialistic laws, once you fail, you give up. Because that's the only solution. Allah is telling you, no, I'm the Lord. I can help you. You get the idea? Okay. So at-tawheed is big thing. Maybe we'll talk about it later on. Now, وقل يا أيها الكافرون عند منامك فإنها براءة من الشرك وقل هو الله أحد نسبة الرب عز وجل. يعني when you go to bed, read قل يا أيها الكافرون وقل هو الله أحد. We have another riwayah قل أعوذ برب الناس also قل أعوذ برب الفلق وتسبيحة الزهراء وآية الكرسي. Don't go to sleep and you are watching or listening to haram music. عيب يعني والله مصيبة يعني معلش يعني خلي spirit شوية in a clean area, clean environment. Ask for, you might die, you might not, and that's why they say when you wake up, the first thing you have to say, Alhamdulillah, I was raised again. I could have been what? Dead. So this is the advantage of it. Secondly, we have riwayah عن أبي عبد الله كان أبي صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم يقول قل هو الله أحد ثلث القرآن. You are busy, you could not read Quran because sometimes you are busy. If you read قل هو الله أحد 3 times as if you read the Quran once. مش واحد بشهر رمضان in شهر رمضان, you know what, Alhamdulillah, today I finished the Quran 10 times tonight. How? Wallah, I read قل هو الله. Ya Habibi, it does not mean this. It's about your intention, circumstances. If you say, God, that's what I can afford now. In other ways, you are telling God, I'm not careless. I wish I could read what? More. Or maybe it has its hasanat, I do not know. Okay, but definitely if you are putting efforts in big surahs, it's not like putting effort in small surahs. Anyway, this why we have this kind of numbers. Later on, inshallah, we'll discuss it maybe when we come to Surah Qul Ya Ayyuhal Kafirun. عن أبي عبد الله عليه السلام يعني الإمام الصادق. If you want to go out of your house and you want Allah to protect you and you are worried about getting in troubles or getting into accidents or having troubles here and there on the road, before you start thinking about your AAA, which is good to have, I'm not saying no, and before you start thinking about your new safety features in your car, okay, connect yourself not to your car, to Allah first. Read قل هو الله أحد 10 times. Driving, شو النتن؟ قل هو الله أحد ده صعب يعني؟ While you are warming up your car or you are starting your car يا أخي. بلش start reading قل هو الله أحد 10 times. من قرأ قل هو الله أحد حين يخرج من منزله 10 مرات لم يزل في حفظ الله عز وجل وكلاءته حتى يرجع إلى منزله. يعني Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala keeps protecting you, helping you till you come back. Why? Because you read قل هو الله أحد 10 times, but this is after what? After doing your due diligence. ما يعني a person is a drunk who reading قل هو الله أحد 10 times. Okay? And the last, I have more, but this is one of them. And this is a very interesting story. عن سعد بن معاذ لقد وافى من الملائكة النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم. Not عن سعد بن معاذ. It's a story about سعد بن معاذ. So النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم, when Sa'ad bin Mu'adh, a Sahabi, passed away, so the Prophet prayed on him. You know, we have this praying when a person, okay. The Prophet said, how many angels prayed with the Prophet on Sa'ad bin Mu'adh? هلا أنت to you is a dead body. وجاي عم تصلي, you are, because you are shy, people are praying, Allah, I pray with them. You do not know what's the advantage of it. You do not know that some people, when they are dead, laying, okay, in their coffin, and someone is praying on them, you do not know how many angels are following that coffin. Here, Sa'ad bin Mu'adh, if I did not delete the riwayah because I have bad habits, he said 70,000 angels were praying, what? With the Prophet on whom? On Sa'ad bin Mu'adh, Sahabi. 70,000. Why? So he asked Jibreel, what did he do to deserve such kind of special treatment? شو 70,000 يعني ملائكة؟ إذا نحن بيطلع لنا 5 بيكون بيتنا بالقلعة يعني. إذا البشر Someone one time called me from different state. They want to pray on a dead person. They do not know how. مصيبة يعني. هلا نحن in this area الحمد لله يعني we have some nice العمر طويل للجميع. Don't get me wrong. May Allah prolong your life in a healthy, good way. Why did he deserve this? He said, because he used to recite قل هو الله أحد, Allah, while he is walking, while he is sitting, while he is riding, while he is standing, always reciting what? قل هو الله أحد. Why he, Sa'ad bin Mu'adh, according to this riwayah, 70 angels were praying on him? Because he used to recite قل هو الله أحد so many times while walking, while riding, while standing, while always in touch with God, divine entity. We do the same, but with our smartphone. And some people, if their battery dead, they are lost. But if they do not mention Allah, they are fine. Wallah, what does Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala say? اذكروا الله ذكرا كثيرا. Always remember Allah. A lot. شو يعني a lot? والله عم صلي يا حبيبي a lot, a lot. Who Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling you. Some people, some scholars, they say this is an order, some scholars. Always remember Allah. Do not look at people just as regular way. Always associate Allah with everything. Always see things through Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So we stop it here. If you have any questions, please let us